Questions of this witness, Senator Archibald.
If you also have interns, right? Would you
That's
amplify on that? You take them from the law schools in Boston and Rhode Island,
That's
Williams,
correct.
and you have medical interns as well. Would you amplify on that?
I'd be glad to. One of the ways we make things work as well is that we utilize law interns. We have a very good relationship with the Roger Williams School of Law. We also have had interns over the years. Currently, we have one from New England Law in Boston. We've had people from Suffolk, BC, BU. We've had, this is really actually pretty cool. We have somebody who is coming to intern with us for 6 months from a law school student from Bulgaria. And I met her last summer, and she asked if I would be willing to host her. And a really sharp kid, and I'm glad to do that. And we've corresponded over the last 6 months. And I've learned a lot from her. She's doing a lot of election stuff over there, so we pick each other's brains. So we do interns. We also do volunteer lawyers. So what we've been able to do, and I'm very, very proud of, is that we've been able to, in the area of unintended consequences, been able to incubate young attorneys. And what we do is we bring them in, we help them burnish their resume, we give them some guidance and resources so that they can serve our clients. And we have been very successful with that. In the materials, you'll see letters written by several of these young attorneys. So what we do is when somebody moves out, we find somebody, they move in. And it's just how we integrate and give back to the legal community as well. Because what we do, I hope, is make friends in the community. I mentioned to somebody earlier today that we have 2 core values corporately, and as long as I'm here, that's all we'll ever have, I suppose. One is that we're collaborators, we are collaborators and partners. The other is everything we do, everybody who comes in, they need to see the face of that client at the end of everything that we do. Because in the end, it's not about me. In the end, it's about them. They're the one. I've been lucky in my life, and it sounds very noble that I'm doing this for free. I've been lucky, more lucky than anybody's got a right to be, I think. I can do this. My goal is to help as many people as we can and to leave after me an organization that's sustainable and stable, to be good partners with everybody who wants to partner with us. Is that responsive, Senator?
Extremely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Senator Nesselbush.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Sir, I just, do I assume that all of the matters that you handle are non-fee generating matters that members of the bar wouldn't normally handle?
We see, and in response to your question, 88% of our clientele is pro bono. So 12% are, if you will, fee generating. But now let me explain this. What we do, and there's an analysis I did in the materials up to 200%. But when I addressed this issue with the IRS back in 2008, I said I want to go to 300%. Because there was a cohort of people who had very little money, working poor, if you will, that really didn't qualify for very much. And I was hoping to be able to provide some assistance to that cohort as well as the traditionally underserved cohorts. And in return, we're a nonprofit, but that's a tax status. We got to keep the doors open like anybody else. So what we're hoping is that they would provide a very, very small fee. So we averaged it out, really, at the end of the 2013 year. $20 an hour is really how that 12% works out. That's correct. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Irish.
Senator Raptakis.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to commend also the sponsor on both these bills. And the question I have to Mr. Schoos, I received a lot of letters from a lot of the senior centers, Cranston, Coventry, South Kingstown, and supporting this initiative, which I commend you. Mike, just a quick question. Because I know a lot of the senior centers have taken a drastic cut in appropriations from the Department of Elderly Affairs.
Yes, sir.
And I've also noticed in the letter that a lot of seniors need these services for a lot of questions that they have, especially when you hear of a lot of stories of fraud and people trying to take advantage of the elderly. how, of your percentage of the cases, because I know you do also issues when people have problems with housing, rent, of the senior centers, what percentage are the folks that you take care of? Is it like 20% of all the cases?
Oh, no, sir, I'm sorry. It's closer to, the centers have generated about 64% of our business.
64?
Yeah, and now nestled in that are some housing issues, not very many. So a lot of our housing issues, for example, come from the MLP, the Medical Legal Partnership. But generally speaking, about 64%, I think, and that's a compendium credit card fraud, that sort of thing.
Right. Thank you.
Is that responsive?
Yes, thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Senator Met.
Yes, thank
Senator.
you. It's a pleasure to have you up here because certainly for modern low-income people, all the help they can get is certainly appreciated. So I did read a little bit about the mission and the vision. So I agree with it. But what I'm trying to get a handle on is because now I have someone else to call because I always send the people to legal services.
I did put my card in there, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
Okay.
Yeah, no. So I appreciate that because I blame myself because I knew very little about the organization. And so when my constituents call for help, I usually send them legal services. But the question is,
Sir.
what do you do differently, or how do you complement one another? But I know there's more. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter because more is needed. But I'm just curious. I'm just curious about that between you and your organization and legal services.
I think we complement each other because we sometimes do the same work. I mean, there's still some domestic relationships that domestic relations issues that we overlap. There clearly are some housing issues that we overlap as well. I mean, I think so. We generally do about the same things. So what we're looking at is the tsunami of need. So no one agency can do it all. And frankly, to be perfectly honest, no two agencies nor no 10 agencies can do the kind of work that needs to be done and to do it well. So we're just trying to do our bit. I think the one, if I may, one comparison is that we set up shop throughout the community. So we're in Providence, St. Martin, de Porres, we're in Woonsocket for Woonsocket Senior Center, and we're there on a regular basis each month, sometimes twice a month, on occasion, depending on demand, 3 times a month. And we do 45-minute consultations, and then after that, maybe direct services. So is that responsive?
Yeah, yes, it is. Yeah, thank you very much.